What if you walked into a place expecting peace, only to find yourself erased from it, not by chance, but by someone's quiet defiance? Before we unravel this wild ride, let me know where you're watching from in the comments and smash that subscribe button for more jaw-dropping stories. That's the storm Karoline Leavitt stumbled into that day. After stressful days in Washington battling the left-wing media and shutting down leaks, Karoline wanted a place to unwind. Rio Grande, the ideal destination, a luxurious gem in her husband Nicholas Rio's real estate empire, she booked under Caroline Wilson to avoid attention. Stepping into the lavish lobby with its crystal chandeliers, the atmosphere was chaotic, staff distracted, laughter echoing from the counter's corner. She approached the front desk where Avery, disheveled, light blue hair, earbuds dangling with a lively left-wing podcast voice, an overly friendly smile, scrolled her phone, fingers pausing on a hashtag-laden progressive post. Karoline tapped the counter lightly, voice calm. "I have a reservation under Karoline Wilson." Avery glanced up, eyes skimming over her, then froze. She tilted her head, a spark of recognition flashing. Golden hair, that sharp voice from Fox News. "Karoline Wilson?" Avery repeated, polite but with a faint mocking edge. "Hold on, you're Karoline Leavitt, right? Trump's person?" Karoline raised an eyebrow, not denying it. "I'm Karoline Wilson," she replied, voice cool. "Please check my reservation." Avery typed, smile lingering, but her tone shifted to light sarcasm. "I'm so sorry, ma'am, but I don't see anything under that name. Maybe the system hasn't updated. We prioritize more open-minded guests, you know." The word open-minded hung there, laced with intent. Karoline's lip twitched, sensing the hostility. "Open-minded?" she echoed, voice sharp. Avery smiled sweetly. "Just our style, ma'am. Hope you understand." The air in Rio Grande's lobby grew heavy, a few nearby guests quietly turning, sensing the brewing tension. Avery leaned on the counter, smile intact, but her eyes flashed contempt as she looked at Karoline. A familiar face from White House briefings, a conservative icon she clearly despised. Karoline's voice dropped. "You mean refusing me service because you don't like my views?" Avery gave a slight shrug, small but defiant. "I didn't say that, ma'am," she replied, still polite but with a mocking edge. "I just said the system doesn't show your booking. We have standards here. Surely you get that with your Washington experience." Washington landed softly, like a jab. Karoline's lip curled, a cold smile. "I understand more than you think. I have the confirmation email right here." She pulled out her phone, swiping to the Rio Grande email. "Karoline Wilson, Suite 1401, confirmed." She held the screen toward Avery. "Check again or explain why it's not in your system." Avery glanced at it, but instead of digging deeper, tapped a few lazy keys and shrugged again. "I'm so sorry, ma'am," she said, voice dripping fake sweetness. "Still nothing. Maybe you booked wrong or someone adjusted it. It happens when guests don't fit our vibe." "Vibe?" Karoline cut in, voice low and menacing. "You mean refusing me because I don't bow to your woke nonsense?" Avery blinked, a flicker of unease in her eyes, but she quickly regained her confidence. "I'm not refusing anything, ma'am," she said, tone flat. "But we prioritize guests who respect progress. Like equality, the environment, things maybe not on your agenda, right, Miss Leavitt?" Karoline laughed, a short, sharp sound echoing in the quiet lobby. "My agenda? You're picking a political fight with me in my husband's hotel?" Avery crossed her arms, smirk returning, but her eyes blazed with clear hostility. "I'm just doing my job, ma'am," she said. "But if you want to talk about your husband, why not have him fix the system? I hear people like you are better at pulling strings than solving problems." The words were like fuel on a fire. Karoline had faced plenty of foes in Washington, leftist reporters, sanctimonious politicians, but this smug attitude from a receptionist posing as a justice warrior was a new peak. "Check again," she said, each word deliberate, voice icy. Avery sighed lightly, a dramatic huff of annoyance. She typed slowly, then flashed a saccharine smile. "Still nothing, ma'am. I'm afraid you're not on the list. Maybe because we don't back outdated views like yours." "Outdated views?" Karoline repeated, voice dripping sarcasm. "You mean the values that built this country, which you and your leftist pals are trying to tear down?" Avery flushed but didn't back off. I'm not tearing anything down, she shot back, voice rising slightly. I'm protecting this space from people like you. Ones who oppose diversity, others' rights, and think they can bully their way in with fame. Karoline straightened, eyes like lasers boring into Avery. Protecting this space by refusing customers you don't like? That's the freedom you're so proud of? Avery's lip curled, her tone now tinged with arrogance. I get to choose who I serve, ma'am? This isn't the place for people like you. You should know that with that Trump press secretary's title you carry. The remark was a sly blow, and Karoline felt heat rise in her throat. Interesting, she said, voice thick with sarcasm. You recognized me from the start and decided to delete my booking because you don't like what I stand for. Who do you think you are, Avery? A receptionist or a self-appointed activist? Avery blinked rapidly but held her ground. I'm just doing my job, she said. If you don't like it, prove me wrong. I'm waiting. Karoline stepped back, eyes locked on Avery. She pulled out her phone again, fingers flying through her contacts. Prove it? She repeated, voice low and threatening. Fine. I'll show you the cost of crossing me. Avery shrugged, smirk returning, but this time the shrug trembled noticeably. I'm not scared of you, she said, voice pitching higher. You might be famous, but here I've got the power. Your power, Karoline replied, standing at the front desk, her sharp blue eyes locked on Avery, who'd just thrown out a cocky, I'm waiting challenge. The Rio Grande lobby fell dead silent, a few nearby guests pausing their chatter, eyes darting over like they sensed an explosion coming. Avery still had her arms crossed, smirk plastered on, but the slight quiver in her voice when she said, I'm not scared of you, betrayed her fake bravado. Karoline held up her phone, fingers racing through contacts, gaze never leaving Avery, a look from someone used to crushing opponents with cold precision. Josh, Karoline said when her assistant picked up, voice low but clear. I need you to access Rio Grande's internal system right now. Front desk account, name Avery. Check the activity log. Josh, ever ready from the White House, replied briskly, Got it, Miss Leavitt. Give me a minute. The sound of typing crackled through the speaker, sharp like a drum roll before judgment. Avery blinked, her smirk faltering. What are you doing? She asked, voice rising, losing its fake sweetness. Karoline flicked her a cold glance. I'm giving you one last chance to admit you deleted my reservation. If not, I'll prove it myself. Avery's lip twitched, trying to regain composure. Prove what, ma'am? She said, a hint of mockery. The system doesn't have your name, and I don't have to play along with your power games. This isn't the White House. No, Karoline shot back, voice sarcastic. It's my husband's hotel, and you just made it your battlefield. Big mistake. Her phone buzzed faintly, a text from Josh popping up. In the system, Karoline Wilson, Suite 1401, confirmed 2:32 p.m. today. Manually deleted by Avery L. at 5:18 p.m. Google search, Karoline Leavitt, from same account, at 5:15 p.m. Karoline's lip curled, a smile of someone holding the winning card. She turned the screen toward Avery, voice even but cutting. Look. Avery glanced over, her face paling slightly at the line. Reservation deleted by Avery L? She blinked fast, fingers clenching. That could be a glitch, she stammered, voice shaky. I didn't do anything. Computers sometimes... Karoline cut her off, stepping closer, eyes like lasers piercing Avery. A glitch? Then why did your account delete my booking right when I'm standing here? Don't lie. Avery stepped back, hands gripping the counter for support. I was just checking, she said, voice feeble. It wasn't on purpose. You can't prove... Karoline laughed, a short, sharp sound ringing through the lobby. Can't prove it. I've got the system log right here. She switched to speaker, calling Josh back. Read it aloud, Josh, she said, voice icy. Josh's voice came through, dry but precise. Karoline Wilson, Reservation Suite 1401, confirmed, 2:32 p.m. Manually deleted at 5:18 p.m. by the same account. No reason noted. The lobby stirred, whispers breaking out. An older man nearby muttered, She's done for. A younger woman shook her head but stayed quiet. Karoline killed the speaker, eyes locked on Avery. You knew I was Karoline Leavitt and deleted my booking because you don't like what I stand for. This isn't a glitch, Avery. It's you. a discriminator hiding behind progressivism. Avery's mouth opened but no words came. Her face went white, hands trembling on the counter. "I didn't," she stammered, but Karoline didn't let her finish. "Didn't what?" Karoline pressed, stepping closer. "Didn't mean to. You recognized me from the start and decided to teach me a lesson because I don't fit your open-minded mold. Who do you think you are, a receptionist or a self-appointed activist using my husband's hotel as your soapbox?" Avery backed up, eyes panicking. "You don't get it," she said, voice weak. "I just wanted to keep this space safe from people like you, ones who ruin everything we fought for." "Ruin?" Karoline echoed, dripping sarcasm. "You're not protecting anything. You refused me service because you don't like my views. The exact thing you accuse others of doing. You're a hypocrite, Avery, and I've got proof." She held up her phone, the glowing system log like an undeniable verdict. Avery swallowed hard, eyes darting for an escape. You can't fire me over this," she said, voice trembling. "I have my rights." Karoline cut in, cold smile returning. "Your rights end where mine begin. You want to play politics with me, fine, but now the game's over." She swiped her phone, dialing Nicholas Rio. "Nick," she said when he answered, "I need you at Rio Grande right now. There's something you need to see." Nicholas's voice, deep and steady, replied, "I'm on my way. What's going on?" Karoline glanced at Avery, eyes menacing. "One of your staff just refused me service because she doesn't like my politics." Nicholas paused for a second, then said, "I'll be there in 10 minutes. Stay put." Karoline hung up, set the phone on the counter, eyes never leaving Avery. Avery stood there, face pale, hands shaking. "You can't do this," she said, voice nearly a whisper. "I was just doing my job." Karoline tilted her head, voice low and commanding. "No, Avery, you turned your job into a weapon against me, and now you'll pay." She turned to the lobby crowd, voice ringing like a press briefing. "Anyone here think refusing a customer over politics is progressive? Speak up." The lobby stayed silent. Only Avery's shallow breaths audible. An older man clapped lightly, muttering, "She's right." A younger woman shook her head but held her tongue. Karoline turned back to Avery, eyes cold. "You picked the wrong fight," she said. "And when my husband gets here, you'll see the cost of your arrogance." The Rio Grande lobby sank into a heavy silence, broken only by faint whispers from the crowd. Some curious, some excited, some annoyed. Avery swallowed hard, eyes darting, her face pale after Karoline publicly exposed the deleted reservation evidence. You can't do this," Avery repeated, voice feeble, almost a whisper. Karoline's lip curled, a cold smile. "I didn't do anything. You did." The sound of leather shoes echoed from the main entrance, firm and deliberate, cutting through the lobby's tension. Nicholas Rio strode in, tall, commanding in a dark gray suit, silver-streaked hair, deep brown eyes scanning the room like a hawk. The crowd parted instinctively, some recognizing him, the real estate mogul behind this luxury hotel chain. He marched straight to the front desk, eyes landing on Karoline first, then shifting to Avery. "What's happening?" His voice was deep and unyielding, no room for nonsense. Karoline turned to him, voice calm but sharp. "Nick, your employee just refused me service because she doesn't like my political views. She deleted my reservation from the system. I got proof." She held up her phone, screen still glowing with the log. "Reservation deleted by Avery, L at 5:18 p.m. Nicholas's brow furrowed, eyes darkening as he looked at Avery. "Is this real?" Avery blinked fast, hands trembling as they left the counter. "I didn't," she stammered, but Nicholas raised a hand, voice like ice. "I'm not asking if you did it. I'm asking if this is real." Avery swallowed hard, eyes searching for an out. It was just a system error," she said, voice shaky. I didn't mean to, Karoline cut in, voice sarcastic. "A system error? You said that while I'm standing here and the log shows your account deleted it right after searching me. Want me to read the proof again?" She swiped her phone, ready to hit speaker, but Nicholas raised a hand to stop her. "Enough," he said, eyes shifting to Avery. "What do you have to say?" Avery steadied herself, voice rising in defense. "I was just doing my job, sir. I thought she didn't fit our vibe. She's against everything we stand for, diversity, fairness, progress. I have my rights." Nicholas cut her off, voice dropping, menacing. "Your rights?" This is my hotel, not your political stage. You were hired to serve guests, not judge them. Avery flushed, eyes panicking. But she's Karoline Leavitt. She stands for things that ruin what we fought for. Nicholas raised an eyebrow, eyes darkening. She's my wife, he replied, voice even but cutting like a blade. And you just refused her service in my hotel. You think that was smart? The lobby buzzed, whispers erupting. His wife! But Nicholas ignored it, eyes locked on Avery. Karoline stepped closer to Nicholas, voice low but commanding. She didn't just refuse me, Nick. She turned your hotel into her soapbox for her progressive ideals. She thinks she gets to pick who stays here based on politics. Nicholas nodded, eyes still on Avery. So it's true, he said, voice like a verdict. You're done. Avery stepped back, face white. What do you mean? She asked, voice trembling. Nicholas moved forward, standing right at the counter, voice loud enough for the lobby to hear. You're fired, right now. Pack your things and leave in 10 minutes, or I'll call security. The lobby erupted, buzzing voices. An older man clapped, muttering, Good riddance. A younger woman shouted, That's reverse discrimination. But Nicholas didn't flinch, eyes cold. Avery's mouth gaped, her eyes red-rimmed. You can't do this, she screamed, voice breaking. I have my rights. This is my space. Karoline cut her off, voice razor-sharp. Your space? This is my husband's hotel, not your leftist playground. Want to fight? Do it somewhere else. Avery spun toward Karoline, eyes blazing with fury. You're a dictator. You think you can use power to force people? Karoline smiled coldly. I'm not forcing anyone. You dug your own grave when you deleted my reservation because you don't like me. This is consequence, not power. Nicholas nodded, his voice booming like a gavel. You heard her. Get out. Avery stood there, hands trembling, tears spilling over. You'll regret this, she whispered, voice choked. The left won't let this slide. Nicholas shrugged, eyes unflinching. Let them try. Now go. Avery stumbled back, turning and fleeing to the room behind the counter, her sobs echoing as she disappeared. The lobby erupted. Some guests clapped, shouting, She deserved it. Another with green-dyed hair yelled, This is oppression. I'm posting this on X. Phones shot up everywhere, flashes popping, like a mini-protest. Nicholas glanced at a nearby employee, eyes like ice, voice low and sharp as a blade. Get the manager out here now. I want to know why he let this happen right under his nose without a clue. The employee blinked, face paling, then nodded frantically before bolting off like he was escaping a storm. The Rio Grande lobby settled after the chaos, Avery's sobs fading as she vanished behind the staff room door. The crowd of guests dispersed, a few still filming, whispering about what they'd just seen. Karoline stood beside Nicholas, her sharp blue eyes scanning the space, that cold smile lingering on her lips. Nicholas pulled his hand from her shoulder, his deep brown eyes darkening as he turned to the employee who'd run to fetch the manager. Where is he? He asked, voice low but laced with menace. The employee, a young man, face flushed from pressure, sweat beading on his forehead, stammered like he'd choke. Mr. Hensley's coming, Mr. Rio. He's in the back office. Nicholas nodded, his piercing brown eyes never leaving the kid, voice low and threatening. Good, tell him to hurry. I don't wait long. Karoline glanced at her husband, her blue eyes flashing resolve, voice low but arrow sharp. I want to know who let this happen right under his nose, Nick. Avery didn't dare do this alone. Nicholas gave a slight nod, eyes darkening, agreement clear. I want to root this out too. The door behind the counter swung open, and Mark Hensley stepped out. A middle-aged man, thinning hair, sloppy in a wrinkled gray suit. His eyes darted nervously, sweat dotting his forehead as he saw Nicholas and Karoline standing there like twin pillars of authority. Mr. Rio, Miss Leavitt, he said, voice shaky, forcing a weak smile. I just heard something happened. Is there a problem? Karoline stepped forward, eyes like lasers boring into Mark. A problem, she echoed, voice dripping sarcasm. Your employee just refused me service because she didn't like my politics. She deleted my reservation and turned this hotel into a leftist soapbox. Is that a problem, Mr. Hensley? Mark blinked fast, wiping sweat from his brow. I'm so sorry, Miss Leavitt. I didn't know that happened. The Nicholas cut in, voice deep and cold. You didn't know? You're the manager here. How do you not know your staff refused my wife right in the lobby? Mark stepped back, eyes darting for an exit. I was in the office, sir. I can't watch everything at once. Avery, she's new. Maybe she misunderstood policy. Misunderstood? Karoline snapped, voice like a blade. She didn't misunderstand anything. She deliberately deleted my booking because she doesn't like me. I've got the system log proof. This isn't a random mistake, Mark. It's your system enabling her arrogance. She held up her phone, screen still glowing with Josh's evidence. Mark swallowed hard, voice trembling. I'll look into it, Miss Leavitt. I promise I'll... Nicholas stepped forward, eyes darkening. Look into it? It's already happened, and you let it. Do you know what this hotel stands for? This is my property, not a playground for your staff's political games. Mark bowed his head, hands wringing like he was pleading. Mr. Rio, I didn't enable anything. I didn't want trouble with staff. Avery, she's stubborn, but I thought she'd adjust on her own. Karoline's voice cut through, sharp and ringing in the lobby. Adjust on her own? She refused me in front of everyone, and you think she'd adjust? Are you a manager or just a placeholder, Mark? Mark flushed, eyes panicking. I tried training her, Miss Leavitt, but she's got strong beliefs. She talked about freedom, diversity, and I didn't want a lawsuit for pushing her. Freedom? Karoline repeated, dripping sarcasm. She used freedom to discriminate against me because I don't fit her leftist ideals. And you enabled it because you're scared of trouble. What have you turned this hotel into? Mark shrank back, voice weak. I didn't mean for this, Miss Leavitt. I was just keeping the peace. Nicholas cut in, voice like a verdict. Peace? You let your staff insult my wife because you wouldn't face them? That's not peace, Mark. That's weakness. Mark's head dropped, sweat streaking his cheeks. I'm sorry, Mr. Rio. I'll fix it. I'll fix it? You let this happen under your nose, and you didn't know until my husband had to come here. Do you know the cost of your weakness? Mark looked up, eyes pleading. Please, Miss Leavitt, I need this job. I have a family. Karoline stepped closer, voice low but menacing. I don't care what you need. I care that my husband's hotel became a joke because you didn't do your duty. You let Avery act like she owned this place and you did nothing. Mark shook his head, voice quaking. I'll change. I'll tighten control. Please, give me a chance. Nicholas glanced at Karoline, eyes seeking her input. She nodded slightly, but her voice stayed sharp. Fine, Mark. You get one chance. But if I hear one more time about your staff refusing guests over petty political nonsense, you won't just lose your job. You'll lose everything you've built here. Mark nodded frantically, sweat dripping to the floor. Thank you, Miss Leavitt. Thank you, Mr. Rio. I won't let this happen again. Karoline turned to Nicholas, voice low. What do you think, Nick? Nicholas shrugged, eyes fixed on Mark. I trust you, but I want him to prove he's not useless. He turned to Mark, voice deep. Hire someone new for Avery's spot. Vet them better. I don't want another one thinking they can turn my hotel into a soap. Got it? Mark nodded, eyes wide with fear. Yes, sir. I'll do it right away. Karoline looked at Mark, eyes cold. Good. But I'll be watching you, Mark. Don't let me down again. Mark bowed his head, muttering, I won't, Miss Leavitt. He turned, hurrying back to his office, looking like a man who just dodged a death sentence. Karoline pulled her phone from her coat pocket, the screen lighting up with a flood of X notifications. The app she often used to track public opinion and counter left-wing media. Nicholas glanced over, his deep brown eyes flickering with curiosity. Anything good? He asked, voice low. Karoline's lip curled, that cold smile returning. Oh, you'll like this, she replied, swiping through the alerts. In mere minutes since Avery's public firing, the incident had exploded online. The hashtag Karoline v. Liberal Receptionist trended at number 3, paired with short videos from lobby guests, flashes popping, Avery's shouts, and Karoline's sharp voice cutting through like a White House briefing. She opened the first video, posted by @PatriotMike76, with the caption, Karoline Leavitt takes down a leftist receptionist in her husband's hotel. This is real America. The clip cut to Nicholas firing Avery, the crowd clapping, and Karoline shutting it down with a steel trap question. Comments below roared support, She's a legend. Leftists lose again. Don't mess with Karoline, she smiled, eyes glinting with satisfaction at the hundreds of likes and shares. Nicholas leaned in, eyes darkening as he watched. They're fast, he said, voice deep. You're more famous than I thought. Karoline shrugged, voice sarcastic. I'm used to being filmed and hated. She switched to another post, this time from @BlueWaveRises, a leftist account. Karoline Leavitt abuses power to fire a worker for daring to stand against oppression. This is the true face of conservatives. The attached video zoomed on Avery crying, with comments, "She's a victim, dictatorship in disguise, cancel Rio Grande." Karoline laughed, a short, sharp sound. "Victim," she repeated, voice thick with disdain. "She deleted my reservation because she didn't like my views, and now they call me the oppressor." Classic leftist logic. Nicholas nodded, eyes flashing agreement. They always pull that turn the wrongdoer into a hero. But you've got proof. Karoline nodded slightly, scrolling on. Exactly. And I won't let them spin this. She opened a post from @RealNewsNow, a prominent conservative account. Karoline Leavitt proves the left can't handle the truth. Liberal receptionist refuses her service, gets fired on the spot. This is a win for real freedom. It featured a photo of Karoline holding her phone with the system log. Comments flooding. She doesn't back down. Trump should be proud. Leftists crying again. Karoline smiled, eyes lighting up as retweets soared over 5,000 in 20 minutes. But not everyone cheered. An account @Justice for Avery posted a video of Avery leaving the hotel, tears streaming, captioned, "Avery fired for standing up to Karoline Leavitt, a power-hungry bully who can't handle dissent. Boycott Rio Grande." Comments raged. "She was just defending her values. Karoline's a bully. This is reverse discrimination." Karoline raised an eyebrow, voice sarcastic, "Defending her values by refusing me service. They need to look up bully in the dictionary." Nicholas looked at her, his eyes glinting with amusement. "What are you going to do with this?" he asked. Karoline swiped her finger across the screen, her voice low but resolute. "I'll let them dig their own grave. The truth is clear. She was wrong, and I have proof. The more they scream, the more they expose their hypocrisy." She opened the X app, typing a tweet. "Avery refused me service over my politics, got fired for her actions, not me. This is consequence, not oppression." Karoline Leavitt's Liberal Receptionist. She hit send, her eyes flashing as the tweet instantly racked up dozens of likes within minutes. Karoline's tweet exploded. Conservatives shared it furiously with comments like, "She's right! Don't let the left twist the truth." But liberals struck back hard. Progressive Voice replied, "Karoline Leavitt thinks she's above the law. Firing a worker for differing beliefs is tyranny." Karoline scrolled past, eyes cold. "Above the law?" she muttered. "She broke hotel policy, not me." She turned to Nicholas, voice low. "They won't stop, Nick, but neither will I." Nicholas nodded, eyes darkening. "I don't care what they say online. I just want my hotel free of these political stunts." Karoline smirked faintly, her gaze sweeping the lobby. "Don't worry. After today, no one will dare try again, not under our roof." Her phone buzzed nonstop, X notifications piling up. A post from @MajaWarrior rose up. "Karoline Leavitt is the conservative queen, took down a leftist receptionist and made them cry online. Double win." Karoline smiled lightly, eyes gleaming with satisfaction. But a post from @LeftUnited made her pause. "We stand with Avery. Karoline Leavitt and her husband represent elite oppression." Justice for Avery. Karoline's lip curled, voice sarcastic. "Elite? I just wanted a room." Nicholas placed a hand on her shoulder, voice deep. "You won, Karoline. They can yell all they want, the truth doesn't change." She nodded, eyes locked on the screen. "True, and I'll make sure they don't forget it." She scrolled to a final tweet from @RealCarolineFan. She didn't just defend herself, she defended us all from woke insanity. "Thank you, Karoline," she smiled, eyes flashing victory. Not just personal, but political. Karoline and Nicholas crossed the Rio Grande lobby, heading straight for the elevator to the suite level where they could strategize undisturbed. The elevator doors closed, soft golden light reflecting on Karoline's face, still sharp, though slightly softened. "Mark's a bigger problem than Avery," she said, voice low. "He's weak, letting staff run wild like they own the place. We can't let him keep doing that. Nicholas shrugged, eyes fixed on the doors. He's got a chance to fix it, but if you want to change, just tell me. The elevator opened into a luxurious suite, polished wood floors, huge windows overlooking the lobby, and a small bar with Nicholas's favorite whiskey. He poured 2 glasses, handing one to Karoline, eyes expectant. She took it, sipped, then set it down with a faint clink, voice firm. I don't want risks, Nick. Mark's not strong enough to manage. He let Avery turn this hotel into a joke before we stepped in, but if you want to give him a shot, there have to be conditions. Nicholas nodded slightly, eyes glinting agreement. Fine. I'll give him 1 shot, but he has to prove it. Karoline walked to the window, gazing down at the now empty lobby. Not just Mark, she said, voice low. We need to change how things run here. Hire new people, ones who work, not ones using this hotel as a soapbox. Tighter background checks, clearer policies, no tolerating political games. Nicholas sat in a leather chair, sipping whiskey, eyes locked on her. Got a specific plan yet? Karoline turned, eyes blazing with resolve. Yes, I want you to set terms with Mark. Either he controls his staff, or he's out. If we keep him, bring in a tough assistant from my Washington team, someone who worked with me under Trump. They know how to keep order. Nicholas nodded, eyes sparking interest. I trust you. But I want Mark reporting straight to me, no middlemen. Deal? Deal, Karoline replied, voice sharp. And I want a new policy. Any staff refusing service over personal or political reasons gets fired on the spot. No excuses. This is a hotel, not an ideological battlefield. Nicholas smirked faintly, eyes darkening. I like that. I'll have legal draft it by morning. Anything else? Karoline stepped forward, sitting across from him, eyes never leaving Nicholas. I want to send a message, not just here, but across your whole hotel chain. After Avery, people need to know the cost of challenging us. Nicholas tilted his head, eyes glinting curiosity. What do you mean? Karoline's lip curled, voice low and menacing. I'll work with the PR team, post an official statement on X and your channels. Anyone pulling an Avery stunt gets no second chance here or anywhere. Nicholas sipped more whiskey, eyes lighting with approval. You play hard, he said, voice deep, but I like it. I'll sign off. You go for it. Karoline nodded slightly, eyes scanning the room. Good. And I want you to personally oversee Mark. Make sure he doesn't screw up again. Nicholas nodded, setting his glass down. Done. I'll watch him. They sat in silence for a moment, the suite's air heavy but charged with power. Karoline stood, walking to the bar, pouring another whiskey. Today was a lesson, not just for Avery or Mark, but for anyone thinking they can exploit us. Nicholas rose, stepping beside her, eyes locked on her. I know, and you handled it well, like always. Karoline turned to him, eyes glinting, satisfaction. We're a team, Nick. I protect you here, like in Washington. Nicholas placed a hand on her shoulder, voice deep but warm. I never doubted that. After today, no one will doubt us either. She smiled, eyes blazing victory. Exactly. They'll remember the cost of crossing us. Nicholas nodded, eyes sweeping the window to the lobby below. I'll issue orders now, monitor Mark, hire new staff, update policies. You handle PR. Karoline nodded slightly, eyes fixed on him. I will. By tomorrow, the world will know Rio Grande isn't a playground for ideological nonsense. Nicholas smirked faintly, eyes darkening. Good, now rest. You've earned it. She turned back, eyes locked on Nicholas. Today wasn't just about Avery or Mark, Nick, she said, voice low but powerful. It's about what we stand for. Real American values. Nicholas nodded slightly, eyes darkening. You're right, and we proved it. Karoline's lip curled, that cold smile returning. I want them to remember forever. She stepped to the table, picking up the remaining whiskey glass, sipping, then setting it down with a faint clink. I've seen it in Washington. People like Avery think they can use ideals to justify arrogance, to shut others out while calling themselves victims. Today we showed them the cost of that. Nicholas stood, joining her side, eyes agreeing. You did, and I'll make sure it doesn't happen again, not here, not in any of my hotels. Karoline nodded, eyes blazing resolve. Good, but this isn't just about the hotel, Nick. It's a win for people like us. Ones who believe in real freedom, not the fake kind the left preaches. She turned to the window, voice low but ascended like a White House briefing. Avery thought she could challenge me because I don't fit her open-minded mold. She was wrong, and now she knows the price of arrogance. In my view, the story of Karoline Leavitt and the liberal receptionist Avery is more than a clash of personalities. It's a raw snapshot of America's divided soul. Karoline's experience, being refused service over her politics, hits a nerve because it mirrors how ideology can twist everyday interactions into battlegrounds. I admire her cool-headed reliance on evidence, the system logs, to dismantle Avery's smug defiance. It's a reminder that truth, not volume, wins fights. Yet, I can't ignore Avery's side entirely. Her belief in protecting her space reflects a growing trend where personal values override duty. She's wrong, but her arrogance feels familiar in today's polarized climate. Nicholas firing Avery and the couple's push to tighten hotel policies show a no-nonsense stance I respect. Weakness in leadership breeds chaos, as Mark's failure proves. Still, the explosion, with conservatives cheering and liberals crying victim, leaves me uneasy. It's less about justice and more about picking teams. For me, the takeaway isn't Karoline's victory or Avery's fall. It's the warning. In a world where every move's a hashtag, we need reason over rage. Stand firm, yes, but wield facts, not just power, or we're all just shouting into the void.